The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Hope you are all doing fine. Many thanks for joining us on our workshop. I thank you so much for spending your time in registering during your busy schedule because your participation means a lot to us here at ManageEngine. We, the AD Solutions team, hope to make sure that this session is going to be valuable and you will gain something out of it. I welcome you all for today's session on ADManager Plus. I hope that my voice is audible and the screen is well and clear. If not, kindly let us know through the chat. Let me introduce myself. My name is Annapurna. I am a product architect at ADManager Plus and I am your presenter for the day. So I'm pretty sure that you all know about this series of ADManager Plus workshop. This is workshop number 1 and we will be having 4 more workshops in the following weeks every Thursday, same time at 12 p.m. IST. So in today's topic, we will be seeing how you can have a script-free Active Directory reporting. Let's say in usual way, how do you get the reports from Active Directory? So you need to write some queries or some PowerShell scripts and then you get the report that you want. But in today's session, we will be seeing how you can perform a script-free Active Directory reporting and also how you can efficiently manage your file server permissions and the access as administrator via group memberships. So having said that, let me quickly share with you the agenda for the day. On the first half of the session, we will be discussing about how you can perform a PowerShell script-free Active Directory reporting and on-the-fly Active Directory account management. So in which how you can assign or change the logon permissions granted to inappropriate users on file servers. So you do not want certain people to access your file servers. In other words, I do not want my people who are not administrators to access my file servers. So how do I identify and remove their logon permissions? And the next thing, say for example, your organization has encountered a brute force attack. So how do I enforce a password reset for my entire organization? And now let's say you have some custom Active Directory attributes configured. And if you want to get the value for every user on that custom attribute, so how do I get such reports? Or you want to change the logon hours to enhance the security measures. So how do I perform all these things easily? So this is going to be the first half for today's session. And in the second half, we will be dealing how you can efficiently manage your NTFS permissions. Let's say, how do I find the people who are in their low-level security group that is not linked iteratively to a top admin group? And the next thing, how do I find who has access to a confidential share and if someone who is inappropriate to have such permissions and I need to clean up their permissions right away. So we'll be discussing all these things in today's session. And having said that, I'm going to take you to the application. So if you have ADManager Plus configured at your end, you can very well make use of that. Or not, I'll be sharing a link with you. So that is the test lab that we have set up and hosted online. So you can make use of this link. Kindly have a look at your chat window for the URL for accessing our test lab. So you can access this link and have a hands-on experience with ADManager Plus. So the credentials for logging into the application is ADMP, that's the username, and the password is workshop with W in uppercase. So kindly make sure that you log in using ADManager Plus authentication, not the workshop. So this is going to be a local authentication, not a domain authentication. So kindly log in using ADManager Plus authentication. Okay, so having said that, let me log in with my credentials. So as you can see that when you log in, you will be welcomed with the product dashboard where you can get some useful informations like the user reports, total number of users, total number of inactive users or disabled users, number of computers and all that. in the domain that you have configured in ADManager Plus. So let me give you a quick overview of the entire product. So we have ADMGMT tab. So this is for managing your Active Directory objects. So this is where you can create user accounts or computer accounts or contacts, and you can modify them either one by one or as a bulk. And if you want to delete them, you can do that as well. If you want to change any particular attribute, say exchange related attributes or link related attributes or terminal services related attributes, so you can always perform them either one by one or in bulk using AD Management tab. And with AD reports, so this is what we are going to see for today's session. So this will give you an insight into the Active Directory and helps you to get the detailed information about the objects in the domain. And with AD Delegation tab, you can delegate certain tasks to your HR or network administrators or for your IT technician in your organization. Say for example, you do not want your certain IT technician to change the password of a user or to modify certain permissions of a user account. So you can delegate such permissions under AD Delegation tab. And you have something called workflow. So this will help you to set a standardized structure for your organization's everyday task in the form of request, and it follows a request approval and execution pattern. Now let's say, for example, you do not want your HR people to straightly create user account in your Active Directory. So what you can do is you can make them as a requestor, and then you can make them raise a request for creating a user account, and then you as an administrator can either approve and execute it or you can reject it if you feel it invalid. So such things can be done with the help of workflow tab. And we have something called automation. So this will be really helpful to perform some repetitive or monotonous Active Directory tasks that are crucial to your organization's function. Like say you want to perform cleanup activity. So that will be like a repetitive task that should be done every month. Check the users are inactive for the last 30 days, and then you disable them or you want to delete them. So such operations can be configured under automation tasks. Okay, so having said that, today's focus will be on Active Directory reports. So like I said, how do I get the user's information in Active Directory? Either I have to run a query or I have to run a PowerShell script. Let me show you a sample PowerShell script. So with this script, I can get the basic details like SAM account name, display name, description, and the attributes that I give here from Active Directory. And then I can export it in my file. Now let's say you want to perform some complex query. Say find the number of users in a group or get the groups for a particular user account. But when the numbers increase, say get the members of 5 user account. So this will become complex and you need to refine this query. And if you miss out any commas or any semicolon, any punctuations in between, then you may run into error. Or you can query using the normal queries in Active Directory. So when your requirement gets complex, then you need to write some complex queries. So in order to avoid such complex things, we have Active Directory reports in ADManager Plus, where you can get the reports based on your requirements with just click and go. So as I said, the first task for today is going to be, how do I identify the logon permissions granted to inappropriate users on file servers? So as a first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the users who are not part of domain admins or say any confidential group. So in my case, it's going to be domain admins. Let me go to group reports. And now I'm going to find the users who are not in a group. So under AD reports, you can find group reports in which you have a report with the name users not in groups. So now I need to find the user accounts who are not a part of domain admins. So the first thing is you can select the domain if you have multiple domains configured in ADManager Plus, and then choose the group. Just click this plus icon. This will display the groups present in your Active Directory, and then you can choose the group you want, say basic group 1 or any group that you want to check for. So right now it's going to be domain admins for me, and then hit OK. And now I'm going to generate this report. So now I can see that there are 166 user accounts who are not part of domain admins. So now what you can do is either you can select all the user accounts by clicking this icon, or you can just select some user accounts as per your requirement. And now I'm going to remove these groups, these user accounts from logging into my file server. So you just have to click this more actions and then choose the action users workstations. So and then click go. So with this management operation you can remove these user account from logging into a certain computer. So you can modify the option here. So either you allow them to log in to all the computers, or you can allow them to log in to a selected computers by adding these user account to that computers, or you just remove these user account from a certain computer. So now I'm going to remove these user accounts from my file server. Okay, let me hit this plus icon so that this will list the computers present in my domain. Okay, now let's say a ADMP-DC1 is the file server that I want to remove these user accounts from logging in, or it can be testing, or it can be any computer that you wish to remove. Remove the permission of these users from logging into my computers. And now hit OK. So once you're done with choosing the user accounts and the computers, just click apply. So when you hit this apply button, these user accounts will be denied permissions from logging into that particular workstation. Okay, so if this workstation exists really in your organization, then it will be removed. In my case, and I believe that a specified workstation does not exist in my environment. Okay, now let me move to the next task for today. So now suppose say that your organization has encountered a brute force attack. In such case, you would wish to reset password for all the user accounts in your organization. So how do I do that? In the native Active Directory way, if you have to do a reset password for the entire organization, it's going to be a little bit a tough task since you have to do it one by one or choose them from every organizational unit and then perform the operation. But in my case, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find all the users in my organization. Let me go to AD reports, user reports, and then hit all users. You can choose the domain, or if you want to get the users for a particular organizational unit, just click this add OUs button and then choose your organizational unit. And now I'm going to hit generate. So this report will give me all the user accounts present in my organization. So as a next thing, I'm going to choose either all the user accounts, or you can randomly pick some user accounts. So now I'm just going to pick some random user accounts. So the next thing I need to do is I need to reset password for these user accounts. So like you can see that you can either delete these user accounts, you can disable them, or you can just move them to another OU. So now I'm going to reset password for all these user accounts. So just click this three-dotted button and then choose reset password. So you can find it in here. If you wish to perform any other task like related to exchange or terminal services, you can very well do that. Right now I'm going to reset password for my user accounts. Let me hit go. So there are 4 ways with which you can reset password for the user accounts using ADManager Plus. The first thing is you can generate a random password. So this is based on the complexity that you have configured in ADManager Plus in admin tab, or you can type a password manually. So this will be the traditional way of setting a password for a user account, or you can make it the same as the user logon name, or you can simply leave it blank. But leaving it blank will make this user account vulnerable, and hence I wouldn't recommend you to do it. Right now I'm going to type a password. I'm going to follow the traditional way. So when you type a password, make sure that you enter the password that meets the complexity that you have configured in your domain. So now you are resetting the password for a user account. So you may wish to enforce the user to change their password at the next logon. If you wish to do so, then select S. Or if you think you don't want the user to change the password, you can even select that. Or if you think the password never expires, then you can select that as well. But right now I'm just going to select S for user must change the password at next logon. So once you're done, just hit apply. And now even if you wish you do not want to change the password for a particular user account, you can simply uncheck that particular user account. But now I'm going to select all user account and then hit apply. Okay, so this is how you can reset password for your user account. So the next thing I'm going to explain is about how you can ensure uniformity across your organization. Now say for example, you want to find whether any attribute has duplicate value for any 2 or more user account. Now let's say you want to find whether any 2 user account has a same employee ID. So when you create a user account, you sometimes may not be aware of the employee IDs, and you may happen to create duplicate value for employee ID. Or if you have any other custom attributes configured in your organization, you could have entered a duplicate value for any of the attributes for your user accounts in your organization. Now, how do I find such duplicate values? Just go to AD reports, user reports. So there you can see a report, users with duplicate attributes. Okay, let me click this report. So now you can choose any of the attribute that for which you want to check whether this attribute has duplicate value for 2 or more user accounts. Okay, let me click this plus icon. This is where I can select the attributes. So this is going to be employee ID. So you can even check if it is for extension employee ID or employee number or any attribute that you want. Okay, I'm going to choose employee ID and then hit OK. And now I'm going to generate this report. So now you can see that there are 2 user accounts who has same employee ID. But one thing is I'm missing is what is the employee ID number. So if you want to find the value for any of the attributes, it can be a custom attribute or any attribute in your domain. So you just have to choose this, click this link, add or remove columns. So it will display the attributes for the user account. So now I'm going to choose employee ID and then I'm going to hit OK. So now you can see that these 2 user account has same employee ID value 2345, and now if you wish to change the employee ID for any one of the user account, just choose the particular user account and click more action, and choose the action as custom attribute. And now hit go. So what you have to do here is you have to type the LDAP name of the attribute that you wish to change. In my case, it is going to be employee ID, and the value is say 1234, and then I'm going to hit apply. So this is how you can change the value for any custom attribute present in your domain. And now let's say if you want to find or if you want to generate report for any custom attribute. So what you have to do is you just have to configure that custom attribute in ADManager Plus, then go to all users, then choose the column of that custom attribute, and then you can generate the report. Let me show you how. Go to admin tab and then choose LDAP attributes. So this is where you can configure custom attributes for your domain. I have configured certain attributes over here. Now let me tell you how you can add a custom attribute here. Now let's say I have a custom attribute with the name employee type. So I'm going to type the display name for my attribute and the LDAP name, which is employee type, and you can specify whether it is a Unicode string or integer or date and time, or even if it is a multi-valued attribute. And then you can associate it with your reports. Now let's say I'm going to associate it with my user report and hit add. Okay, so employee type is already there. If you are an educational institution, you may have a custom attribute with the name group code or course code or something like that. So based on that, you can add the custom attribute over here, and once you're done, just go to AD reports. Okay, I just need to associate that attribute with my reports. So this employee type right now is associated with only user creation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate it with my report as well and then hit update. Okay, so let me go to AD reports now and then click all users and then hit generate. So once the report is generated, you can just click this add or remove columns and then choose your custom attribute. So my custom attribute is employee type and then hit OK. So if this employee type has any value for your user account, you can find it in here, or if it does not have any value, we can just simply get it blank. And if you wish to export this report, just click export as and then choose the type you want. You can export it in CSV, PDF, HTML or XLS, the way you want. Okay, let me move to the next task for today. Now I have found out I have found out the user accounts with duplicate attributes. Now let's say, how do I find user accounts with empty attribute? Now let's take employee ID, the same example. I want to find no user account should have a empty employee ID value. Okay, let me go to AD reports. So I have a report, users with empty attributes. Just click this link. So this is where you can choose the attribute. Now let's say you want to find the user account should not have an empty mobile number value or empty extension number value or something like that. So you can always go ahead and click this edit icon. So now you can choose the attribute. So you can even choose multiple attributes over here. But right now I'm just going to check whether the user accounts has empty employee number and employee ID. And then hit save. So you can even decide whether the matching criteria should be for all of these attributes or just for any of the selected attributes. So I need to find whether any one is empty or both the values are empty. Okay, so I have selected match all of the selected attributes empty and then hit generate. So I can see that there are 42 employees in my organization with both employee ID and employee number as empty values. Okay, so if you want to if you want to edit their employee ID, the same thing you have to do. Just choose the user accounts and then click this more icon and then choose custom attributes and then hit go. So now you can type the LDAP name and the value and then hit apply. Okay, now let's say if the user account belongs to a particular domain admin group or a top level security group in your organization, and if they have not changed their password for a long time, then their account is going to be vulnerable. So how do I find such vulnerable accounts? I'll tell you how. Go to AD reports and then choose password reports. So what I have to do is I want to find the user accounts who have not changed their password recently. So what I can do is I can click this password unchanged users. And here you can select the desired time period. It can be for last 30 days, last month, or you can even choose it for last n days. So you can enter say 60 days and then generate the report. So now what you can do is you can choose the particular user account and then you can enforce them to change their password at next logon. Okay. So let me choose some random accounts and when I hit this button change password at next logon, so and then this will prompt and box that will ask you to check whether you want to set the change password at next logon. Just hit OK and then there you can see that this user account is set with the value user must change their password at next logon. So if this particular account is associated with a top level security group, then when they log into their computer, then they will be prompted to change their password. Okay, now say for example, how do I find password expired users? Just go to AD reports and then choose password reports and then choose password expired users. So if you want to exclude disabled user accounts, so if a user has been disabled, there may be chances that their password has been expired already. So you can exclude them and then hit generate. So now you can see that after excluding the disabled users, I just have 2 user accounts whose password is expired. And now if you want to reset the password for them, just choose the user account and then choose the particular action you want to do. If it is going to be reset password, you can do that. And now if you want to enforce the user account to change their password at their next logon when their password is about to expire in a few days. So at the last time we have seen the user accounts who have not changed their password for some n days, but now we are going to see the user accounts whose password is going to expire in few days. Go to password reports and then click soon to expire user passwords. So here you can select the desired time period. Let's say I want to find the user account whose password is going to change, whose password is going to expire in the next 7 days. And then hit generate. So, well, you can see it here. So there are 4 user accounts whose password is going to expire in the next 7 days. Now you can do either, select the user accounts. Either you can set the password will never expire, or you can just make them change the password at next logon. Okay. Now let me move to the next task for today. So in the same way, how do I find inactive users in my organization or disable users in my organization? So you can always pick the required report that you want to generate. Now let's say, for example, you want to find out the logged out users. Just hit this report logged out users and then unlock that particular user account. Or you can even check the users whose account is going to expire in n number of days and all. Okay, so now I'm going to check inactive user accounts. So I want to check the users who are inactive for past 60 days. Okay, let me choose last 60 days in my desired time period, and you can even decide whether you want to exclude the disabled user accounts and exclude users who have never logged on. And then hit generate. So this is a multi-DC report. Now say for example you have multiple domain controllers in your organization, and because of some replication problem, um, if the DCs are not able to communicate, then you may have errors in finding the exact user account number who are inactive for some last n days. So in hence, what we do is we collect the information from all the DCs present in your domain, and then finally we provide you the information of the users who are inactive for the past n days. Okay, so moving to the next task for today. So how do I restrict the users uh, from logging in at some particular hours? Now let's say you follow a shift-based timing, and after the shift timing you do not want the user account to log into their systems. So this can be mostly followed in your banking sectors or any organization. So now let's say as a first thing I want to find the user accounts who do not who cannot log in a particular time. Go to user reports and then let me choose log on hour based reports. So now what I'm going to do is, for this month I have my employee following a day shift, and for next month I will make them follow a night shift. So at this kind of time what I want to do is, for this month I want to permit the log on hours from the timing say 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for the next month, I want to allow the timing from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. or from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to find the user account who have permission to log in from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. So you can even choose the number of days over here. You can select all the days or any particular day, and then you can choose the time here. So I'm going to find the user accounts who can log in from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. So I'm going to check for log on permitted hours and then hit generate. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to restrict them from logging in from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, so let me choose some user accounts. Then click more actions, and now I'm going to click log on hours and then finally hit go. So now what you can do is you can just choose the timings I'm going to select the hours. So like I said, I'm going to deny permission from 6 p.m. until 8 a.m. in the morning. On all days, I'm going to deny the permission. So the grayed ones are the log on denied hours and the green ones are log on permitted hours. So once you're done selecting this, just hit apply. Okay. So as you can see here, this operation has been successfully modified. Now say for example, you want to get the inactive users or the disabled users report every day or say every week. So how do I schedule such reports? So how can I get an email to my mail address every week or every day as per your requirement? Just go to AD reports. There you can see an option schedule reports. Or let's say now you want to find whether how many users have logged in every day. Okay, I'm going to create a schedule. I'm going to name it like log on hours or say log on users every day. You can choose the domain. If you have multiple domains, you can choose the domain as per your requirement. And now what I'm going to do is from user reports, I'm going to choose the report recently logged on users. So in here, you can enter the number of days. So I want for the previous day who have logged into their computers. So I'm going to enter the number of days as 1, or if you want to customize it even more, you can always choose the columns or say you want to get the report for a particular OU or say you want to choose it with an employee number. So you can even customize this as per your requirement. Okay, so I'm just going to give it as one number of days and then hit OK. So now I want it to be mailed to me every day. So I'm going to choose the schedule duration daily at 9 a.m. in the morning. And then you can choose the format, whether you want it in a PDF or CSV or HTML format. And here you can enter your email address. Let's say apc@abc.com and then hit save or save and run. So when you hit save and run, this schedule report will run once and then it will continue to execute at the time you specify. Or if you just hit save, this will execute at the time specified regularly. I'm just going to hit save. So every day at 9 a.m. I will receive a mail with the report stating the recently logged on user accounts. Okay, so this is how you can schedule your reports. Now moving to the second half for today's session. So how do I find that no low-level security group is linked iteratively to a top admin group? Okay, let me go to AD reports. And before that, let me show you the member of attribute for a particular account. Let me go to AD Management tab and then click User Management and then click Modify Single User. And now I'm going to choose a particular user account. Okay, so I'm going to check the member of attribute for this user account so that I can verify to whom this user account is a member of. Just click this button. So now I can see that this user account is added to the group basic group 1 and domain users, just two groups. Okay, so now let me go to AD reports and then let me choose groups for users under user reports. And now I'm going to choose the user account. Click select So my user account is nested user. Select the user account and then hit OK. And now hit generate button. So this report will give you all the groups for this user account. So now you can see that you just saw only two groups in the member of attributes in modify single user. So that is how you can view when Active Directory uses computers. When you open the property of a particular user account and then go to member of tab, you will just see these two groups. But now you can see that there are 8 groups associated with this user account. So how is that possible? So this is because basic group 1 is a member of top admin group, which is in turn is a member of domain admins, and which in turn is a member of denied or ODC and all the other groups. And hence this nested group will have the access that a domain admin has. So if you want to remove their group permission, what do you all have to do is go to ADManagement tab and then click group attributes, and then you can just clear all group membership, or if you want to add it to a particular group, just click this button. But now I'm just going to clear all the group membership for my user account nested user. I'm just going to enter the name nested and hit search. Select this user account and then hit apply. So now you can see that this is a member of basic group 1 and domain users, and now I'm going to clear all the group membership, and hence it will be a member of just the domain users group. Okay, let me hit apply. So now you can see that this user account, upon successful removal from other groups, this has become a member of only the domain users group. Okay, so coming to the last topic for today, how do I find out who has access to a confidential share? And how do I clean up inappropriate permissions? Okay, so let me go to AD reports and then let me click NTFS reports. So you can even find the permissions for folders, or if you want to find the shares in the servers or folders that are accessible by certain accounts, or you can find non-inheritable folders. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the permission for a particular folder named confidential share. Just click this link, permissions for folders. I'm going to choose the location, the folder. Okay, let me click my DC, the computer in which my folder is present, and you can even select multiple folders over here, but right now I'm just going to select the confidential share folder alone and then hit OK. You can choose the permission type, whether up to 5 subfolders or for all subfolders. Let me check parent folder level and then hit generate. Okay, so now you can see that for this folder confidential share, there are several user accounts who have access to, apart from administrators, say ADManager, admin1, Arun users, and this is a group, and hence this group has several members in it, say 7 more user accounts, test, Arun and all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the permissions and then provide permission for administrators group alone. Okay, let me go to AD Management tab, then go to File Server Management, and then click Modify NTFS Permission. Now I can select the folder. So my folder confidential share, which is present in ADMPTC1, I'm going to select it and then hit OK. So I'm going to remove all existing permissions. Yes, I'm going to hit it OK. And then I'm going to provide the permission only for the administrators. So I'm going to choose the groups. You can do it both the ways. Either you can choose a particular user account or you can choose a particular group. So now I'm going to choose my group administrators and then hit OK. So I'm going to grant them with full control, or if you wish to change the permission, you can do that as well and then hit modify. So this is how you can change the NTFS permission for your folders. Or if you wish to change the share permissions for your folder, just go to AD Management tab, File Server Management, and then click Modify Share Permissions. And then you can choose your shared folder. Now let's say, again, this is going to be my confidential share. And then hit OK, and you can choose the account, and if you wish to remove all the existing permission, you can do that as well. So once you're done with the configuration, you can hit modify. So now coming to the end of the session, let me give you a quick recap of what we have seen today. So we have seen how you can make use of the 200 plus reports present in ADManager Plus in order to make your task easier as an administrator. So if you want to get all the user account, just hit your AD reports, all user reports, and hit generate. There you can get all the user accounts exported in the way you want. You don't have to spend time in writing a script and then generating it or decoding it, or if at all you happen to find any errors. So you can avoid all such things. And if you want to reset password for all the user account, you can do it with some few clicks. And if you want to get the report for on your custom attributes, or if you want to get the reports based on logon hours, so you can get everything with just few clicks. And as well, you can perform Active Directory account management. And also we have seen how you can efficiently manage your NTFS permissions. Okay, so having said that, so this is all for today, and in next week, Thursday at 12 p.m., we will have another session on Active Directory delegation and business workflow in ADManager Plus. Like I said, how do I delegate certain tasks for my IT technicians? Or how do I make my HR people as a requester, and how do I make them raise a request, then I approve or reject that particular request. So we will be seeing all about that in next session, next Thursday at 12 noon. I expect your participation in next session as well. So after the end of this session, you will receive a survey form. It would just take about 2 minutes to fill it. It will be really appreciated to have your comments in it. So kindly share your feedback with us. And if you have any queries, kindly mail us to support@admanagerplus.com, or after the session, you can just put your questions through the chat window. We'll be at help. So I'll reply to you as soon as possible, or even you can mail us to this mail ID, support@admanagerplus.com. And I hope you all know about the free Global Active Directory seminar that is conducted in India. If not, for your information, so there are two seminars conducted in next week, one in Bangalore in March 7th and the other one in Mumbai in March 8th. So if you wish to participate, you just have to enter it, you just have to register over here. I will be sharing this link in the chat window, so you can go ahead and have a look at it. So one seminar has been over recently in February 23rd in Chennai. If you want to participate in the next week's seminar, so just feel free to register it. I have shared the link with you in the chat window, so kindly have a look at it. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for your participation, and have a good day.